Hello everyone, my name is Moon and today we're going to be taking a quick look on a brand new dark gothic visual novel called Iwakura Aria. So this game comes from Mages, creators of the science adventure games like Steins Gate, Chaos Head, etc. So a little bit description for this game. The Iwakura Mansion holds a dark secret. Ichiko, the new young maid, joins looking for nothing but safety and security, but would soon find herself entangled with a beautiful daughter of the Iwakura household. Unravel the secrets of the Iwakura Mansion in this gripping suspense visual novel. So we have, I guess, 3 parts of this trial version that we can check out. I'll put a timestamp, I guess, on the video so you can check the others if you want to. And last but not the least, I want to say thank you to PQube and to Mages for giving me a code for this game. So without further ado, let's do this. Let's begin. (1966) Okay, so that is a setting for our game.
何も持っていなかった。何も分かっていなかった。33年前、16歳の夏。
33 years, so okay, so she's still alive, I mean.
あの年、見たこともなかった夢が現実になった。運命の声は穏やか。顔を上げて目をすがめた。あの日の刺すような日差しが今も眩しい。もしもし？ねえ、今どこにいるの？
I guess she's gonna be telling her, her story on what happened. I do apologize for the volume because this trial version doesn't really have any main menu or anything like that we can adjust the sound settings. So sorry for that. They did say that this game is kind of like The House of Fata Morgana, Umineko When They Cry, and Raging Loop. I haven't played most of that. I've only played Umineko. But I can see that, I guess, the style or the look of it kind of feels like the House of Fata Morgana because of, I guess, these paintings and all, right? It's kind of hard to say if this is gonna have maybe some supernatural elements to it, but we will see, right? This game is also Yuri, by the way. So Yuri is like romance between ladies. So if you like that, a lot, and then you're gonna love this for sure. Iwakura Aria. A beautiful painting. I had a feeling that the sunflowers wouldn't bloom this year. Surely the morning glories wouldn't bloom either. I'm sure that's because it feels so out of place here. Even if you plant seeds here, it's not like they will even spout. The government declared a few years after I was born that We as a nation were no longer in the post-war period.
ここだけ日本じゃないみたい。
I didn't even know it was possible to be this incredibly wealthy. I guess you can imagine the likes of something you have never seen before. Probably because, yeah, the style of the mansion, right? I don't know, in Japan, especially back then. The grounds are so vast. From here, the gatekeeper looks so small. It has been exactly 1 week since I stepped foot into this completely new world where even the air I breathe feels different from any other place I have lived until now. It all began when I met the head of the household, a man named Amane Iwakura. So I guess we're seeing a little, maybe flashbacks. I really don't want to go to job interviews. At the beginning of the month, I quit the construction company I had been working at since I graduated from junior high. So she's been selling on the street by then? It had only been about a year since I started there. I even told myself that I wouldn't run away no matter what happened. Both my boss and his business partners were much more older than me, yet I had to deal with their advances every single day. Okay, so I guess that's why she left. The feeling of that huge moist hand grabbing my thigh on my last day there. It still clings to my skin, it just won't go away. So they were taking advantage of her and doing that.
あんた、何一丁前にため息なんかついてんの。ため息をつきたいのはこっちよ。全然売れてないじゃない。
だってガラクタばっかりなんだもん。こんなの誰も買ってくれないって。
買ってくれないじゃなくて売るの。あんたが出戻ったせいでうちも大変なんだから。分かってんの？
This is Kitagawa Orphanage. It's a place where I spent the majority of my childhood while I was being moved around to different foster parents and institutions. I spent the last year here before I was eligible for employment somewhere. We were hosting a bazaar that day to raise money to help with the orphanage operating costs. Tableware with ugly patterns, towels with their colors faded, and the crown jewel of the lot was a doll with a creepy face. It was all so ridiculous. Everything was lined up in front of me, and all of them were items that seemed like they were particularly unlikely to sell. That's... Also, that was her painting, okay. It was a watercolor painting I made of a bird. I have almost never been praised for it, but I love creating works of art since I was little. Usually I just doodle some things in my sketchbook, but since I came back to the orphanage, I have been doing some paintings while I spent time with the younger kids. It was only in those moments that I could just forget about everything and enjoy myself. However, much to my dismay, this caught the attention of one of the staff, and since thought it didn't help liven things up, they ended up selling my art at the bazaar. Maybe I should just quit painting. I was just doing it for myself as a way to relax. But when they decided to put my art up for sale, it felt like both my art and feelings I put into it were as worthless as the rest of the junk they were selling it with. Everything is truly awful. The weight of the stress made my head hang low.
この絵はいくらかな？色使いがすごくいい。娘が気に入りそうだ。 おや、申し訳ない。こちらは売り物じゃなかったかな。
いえ、売り物です。
もしかして君が書いたの？
I felt so awkward as my face grew hot, but I managed to softly nod in response. That's when I saw him, Mr. Amane Iwakura, with a wonderful smile on his face, began admiring my artwork with this incredibly sincere sense of earnesty. Oh my god, my heart is absolutely pounding. I've never had someone praise my art like that before. All of that sadness I was feeling just a minute ago had just completely vanished.
お取り込み中？ちょっと失礼しますね。
どうしたの？
イチコ、あんたそろそろ出る時間でしょ。あるから中に戻りな。
まだいいよ。10分前で大丈夫だから。
無職のくせに何が大丈夫なんだか。院長がお偉いさんに頼んでこの日曜にわざわざ時間を作ってもらったんだからね。服も髪もちゃんとしてよ。院長に恥かかせないでいい？
God damn it. I hate this so much. You're the one embarrassing yourself around here.
返事はあんたちゃんと聞いて。
わかったから。ごめんなさい。私失礼します。
君、待ちなさい。仕事を探しているのならうちに来るといい。ちょうど住み込みの女中を募集していてね。興味があれば少し話でもどうかな。
私？
住み込みの女中？失礼ですがあなた。
Honestly, would you trust someone like this? Someone you just met?
おっと、その前にこの絵をもらうよ。手持ちがあまりないのだけれど2000円でどうだろう。
With those words, Amane gracefully slid 2 bills into a can that only had some loose change rattling around inside. That was the first time I've ever seen paper glisten like that.
約束の時間まであと15分か。そうだ、せっかくだし。
Is she gonna start painting? I pulled a new sketchbook that I just bought yesterday out of my bag. I can definitely kill some time with this.
何を描こう。やっぱりあの天使かな。
Suddenly, beautiful emerald wings fluttered right past my face. They playfully danced around the fountain, then gently landed on the shoulder of the sleeping angel as if they were taking a rest.
綺麗。よし。こんな感じかな。
I really thought about giving up on my art, but Amane's words were powerful enough to get me to go buy a new sketchbook. He offered me food, clothing, and shelter with a more than adequate salary. He even said that I was free to pursue my hobbies as long as I did my work. Then he told me that I really need to create more art. Those words made me so happy. The staff members said that I shouldn't take him seriously, but I ended up buying not only a new sketchbook, but some extra new pencils as well.
かわいい。
It was a first page worth commemorating. For some reason, looking at this piece, it makes me feel like everything will be okay.
これ一冊埋めるのは大変そうだけど、これからここでたくさん綺麗なものが描けたらいいな。よし、ちょうどいい時間だ。
I put the sketchbook back in my bag and then began walking towards the entrance.
カラス？どこだろう。庭の方かな。広すぎて見えないよ。
What is this? Why was he sniffing around? Yeah, was that a guy? Oh, someone's standing there. He's so big. I wonder if he's a security guard. He followed me from the gate all the way to the entrance.
こんにちは。
Why is he watching me with so intently? Did I do something wrong?
はじめまして。今日からお世話になる北川一子です。
Yikes, he's completely ignoring me. Maybe he's not allowed to talk to people or something like that. I feel like I remember someone telling me that's the case at a castle in England. I managed to convince myself that I was correct, and awkwardly forced myself to walk past this man who would no longer look me in the eye. Ah, that car. Next to the entrance, a jet black luxury car was parked in the driveway. This was the car that Amane got into when I saw him off at that first day I met him. Nothing about any of this was a dream. Suddenly, the reality of the situation hit me all at once, and I was now very tense. This is absolutely not the time to start feeling nervous. That's when I looked down at my watch and I saw that it was now exactly the time I was supposed to be here.
ごめんください。ごめんください。ごめんください。
I then rang the doorbell. I could hear a voice calling out from the inside. That was when, as if someone was standing by waiting for me, the doorknob quickly made a clanking sound as it began to turn.
いちこくん、いらっしゃい。よく来たね。
The ceiling is so high.
暑かったろう。今日は30度を超えると聞いて驚いたよ。6月最後の日曜とはいえ、夏はまだ先だと思っていたんだけれど。
Just the entrance hall of this place alone is bigger than a normal person's entire house. Amane looks kinda young. Yeah.
いちこくん、立ち止まっていないで中へおいで。
はい、靴は。
そのままで構わないよ。我が家は海外からいらっしゃるお客様も多いから西洋式なんだ。
そうなんですね。それじゃあ。
Filled with hesitation, I nervously took my first step inside. I just needed to take another step, then another step. Wow. Even the sound of my footsteps in my cheap shoes echoes with an enchanting elegance. This is too much. It feels like I am at a fancy ball or something. It reminds me of that famous... what's it called again?
鹿鳴館。 あ、いえ、あんまり素敵な玄関ホールでなんだか鹿鳴館みたいだなって。もちろん見たことはないので想像ですが。
なるほど。やっぱり君は芸術家だね。すごくいい感性を持ってる。この屋敷は大正時代にイギリス人の建築家が設計したものなんだ。鹿鳴館ほど華美ではないけれど、同じく贅を尽くした空間だ。デザインも使われている素材も、この腰壁一つとっても彼や職人のこだわりが見て取れる。暖炉のマントルピースもそうだ。せっかくここで働くのだからね。時間をかけて屋敷中細部まで堪能するといい。
ありがとうございます。見せてもらうのが楽しみです。
So yeah, this house has been, I don't know, I guess this is 1966, right? So about 40, maybe 40 years? 50 years, something like that.
ああ、他の部屋もきっと期待を裏切らない。と、疲れているのに立ち話で申し訳ないな。まずは君の部屋に案内するよ。少し休むといい。仕事の話はそれからだ。
I can't believe that my room is inside the residence itself. I figured I would be staying in a separate building or something. Amane, lead the way with the sound of my footsteps following directly behind him. The floor creaked softly. I could faintly hear the sound of my clothes rustling. It's so quiet. A little too quiet.
他の使用人の皆さんは。
通いはいるけれど、住み込みは君一人だ。ああ、でも家事すべてを押し付けるつもりはないから心配はいらないよ。部屋は2階だ。足元に気をつけて。
No way. I didn't think for a second that I would be the only one. I wonder if things will be okay for me here.
いちこくん？
Things were not at all what I thought they would be. So that urge to just stop in my tracks was strong. Despite my slightly trembling legs, I forced myself to start climbing the stairs. I could hear my heart pounding in my chest. What am I going to do if something happens?
ここを上がって正面が私の部屋で、いちこくんの部屋は左手の突き当たりにある。そして
There's no way anyone would come here to help me. I guess, right? The place is very isolated. Things is kinda too good to be true. But who knows, right? Who knows?
その右隣が娘の部屋だ。
That's right, I forgot he had a daughter. The blood that quickly drained from my face came back and made my cheeks hot. That was close. Thank goodness I didn't say anything weird. I emerged from the staircase into a wide hallway. All of the closed doors made it feel rather claustrophobic, while at the same time, the sunlight coming in from the skylights made it feel rather open. Being in a space where you could feel both of the sensations at the same time was pretty overwhelming.
正面が天音さんの部屋。
そう、元は主寝室として作られた部屋だけれど、妻が亡くなってから一度改装してね。 今は仕事部屋も兼ねた作りになっているよ。階段の隣はバスルーム。風呂の時間は互いに気を使う必要があるけれど、基本的には自由に使ってもらって構わないよ。こっちは客間だ。とは言っても、もう2階にお客様をあげることは。
Amane suddenly cut himself off when he placed his hand on one of the doorknobs.
なんだ、アリア、起きていたのか。
Aria, I guess that's his daughter. That's a pretty uncommon name.
おいで、イチコ君。娘のアリアを紹介するよ。
Now that I think of it, I've never asked how old she was. I wonder, maybe she's still pretty young. I mean, this guy looks pretty young as well, right? I did what was asked of me and stepped into the guest room. In that moment, I realized that any of my predictions about her were completely off base. I could only see the back of her as she gazed out the open window. She had long hair that went down to her waist, and her slender ankles were peeking out from under her skirt. She was clearly much more taller than me, not to mention that aura she gives off. She doesn't seem like a child, so she's probably not younger than me.
Aria.
Amane called her name and urged her to greet me. She then calmly turned to face me. It was in that moment. A Renoir painting stood before me. I suddenly remembered an art book that I had completely forgotten about. Somebody had donated it to the orphanage. It was a rather large book. She had this dream-like beauty. Her thin neck, small face, and big beautiful eyes were now facing me. Her black hair shined with a bluish tinge from the sunlight. It accentuated the translucency of the whiteness of her skin. It was like the window frame itself was framing a real-life painting. There, standing before me, excluding or exuding a beauty that had to be seen to be believed, was Amane's daughter, Aria Iwakura. How old is she? At least 16, right? At the very least. Her small face, ever so petite, neared me. The outlines of her lightly colored eyes came into view as they absorbed the light in the room. What should I do? Should I greet her first? I guess I should. Oh, we gotta do choices now. Okay, nice. Okay, this game has choices. Hold out your hand or lower your head. I think lower your head, right? Because she's, okay, the mistress, I would say. Lower your head.
はじめまして、北川一子です。
Aria gave me a slight nod as I quickly bowed my head. Her quiet demeanor suggested that she is a person of few words. Maybe it's because both her face and body were so doll-like, but I felt like she was rather cold and distant.
お父様、
ん？
この部屋、いつ家具の位置を変えたの？
ああ、おとといの夜だよ。手前半分を広めに使えるようにしたいと思ってね。
Honestly, she doesn't even look like his daughter. I don't know why. Yeah, very different.
どうして？
she came out from that painting for sure.
ちょっとした考えがあるんだ。今は内緒にしておくけれど、アリアにもじきにわかるさ。
そう。
She spoke softly as she slipped between us and made her way out of the room. As she got closer to me, a sweet scent that I had never smelled before softly filled my nostrils. What is that? It smelled so good, like a mix of flowers, medicinal herbs, and citrus. I guess beautiful people have a lovely scent to them as well.
部屋に戻るのかい？
ええ、あまり具合が良くないの。
そうか。それならゆっくりお休み、アリア。アリアは体が弱くてね。
So the classic rich girl that is sickly, I guess.
今日も一日寝ているかと思ったけれど、先に紹介できてよかったよ。さて、この部屋のことはどこまで話したかな？
A mild breeze was rustling the curtains. She was just so beautiful. In my mind, I could still see her facing away from me in front of the frame. What a beautiful painting it would be. The girl depicted in it could turn to face me once again. When our eyes met, my throat got tight and I had trouble breathing properly.
それじゃまた1時間後に。
Oh, there's a room though. That's pretty nice. Yeah, look at that. You can move around it, I mean. You have your bed, and then you have a back area there.
こんなの聞いてない。
Just when I thought I was able to breathe again, the thoughts I had in my mind came spilling out into words as I exhaled. The attractiveness of this person I'm working for has nothing to do with me, but wow, I almost felt like I was betrayed, like I took a sneak attack straight to the face.
あんなに綺麗な人がそばにいたら毎日緊張してしょうがない。
My heart was still beating like mad and wasn't showing any signs of slowing down.
もうしっかりしなきゃ。
I took some deep breaths to try and bring myself back to equilibrium, then took my time as I looked around the room. Suddenly, I felt as if my field of vision was slowly starting to expand.
前は仏間だったって言ってたっけ？
Yeah, Amani mentioned that to me when he was telling me about the rooms. The ceiling seemed to be quite elaborate. It resembled a go board made out of latticed square timber. It's so cool that I can look up at the ceiling when I lie down every night. I wouldn't say this room is all that big, but it is both beautiful and comfortable. To think that they would let me use a room like this. Feeling incredibly grateful towards Amane, I began to unpack my belongings. Not like it would take very long, with a small amount of things I brought. I put my pajamas and underwear away, after which I quickly found myself feeling pretty bored.
そういえば仕事着を入れておいたってここかな？
I casually opened up one of the drawers to find 2 sets of clothes in the color neatly folded and tucked away.
この生地すべすべ。私の普段着よりずっと高そう。
I slipped the dress over my head and tied the apron that was lying underneath the dress. I tied the ribbon in the back nice and tight, and unbeknownst to me in that moment, I began to smile. A brand new maid's uniform that fits me like a glove, a beautiful fountain visible from my window. it all makes me nervous, but at the same time, it is not the least bit unpleasant. I can't remember any other time in my life where I felt like this. It was a quiet room where nobody can hear me talk to myself. It feels like another lifetime ago. I was silently crying in my 3-person company dorm room last month. Maybe I can finally get a fresh start here. I was 16. There I was, living on my own right at the beginning of adulthood. Okay, so she's 16.
よし、着替えも済んだし、そろそろ。って、あれ、まだ30分しか経ってない。どうしよう。せっかくだし、今のうちに2階の部屋を見て回ってみようかな。
Every room in this house is going to be a workplace, so I should be able to come and go as I please. With Amane's words echoing in my mind, I quickly put them into action and began moving.
まずは、どの部屋から見てみよう。
Oh, you can move around the mansion. Oh, so very interactive, I would say. Yeah, that we can just go around and do anything. So this is Amane's room. Bathroom, guest room. Okay, let's start from the bathroom, I guess. Yes. It's so spacious, not to mention incredibly stylish. The bathtub is also deep enough so that you can easily immerse yourself in it. The changing room and the toilet are both neat and tidy. It really makes me wonder if it's okay for me to use this room. Look at this. Very big. Amane.
Oh, ここが天音さんの部屋。
So you're allowed to just enter this room? Okay. It was an opulent room with eye-catching wallpaper and decor with red and gold tones. The vibe in here is a bit different from the rest of the house. I guess this is just his personal preference. There's lots of very expensive looking things around the room. Look at that huge camera. It's so cool. Where's the camera? I don't see it. Guest room. I can feel the after effects of what happened earlier. Standing in the same place Aria did before, I could feel my heart beating softly. Looking at the room from there, I noticed that the furniture and decor in the room was not only tasteful, but it matched with the rest of the residence interior quite well.
蓄音機にレコード。誰の趣味だろう。
On top of the glass shelves were a bunch of Western-style figurines arranged in a well-balanced, aesthetically pleasing way.
天使がいっぱい。かわいい顔。
There were 7 figurines in all. Among them was an angel with this charming, gentle look on its face that really caught my eye. So yeah, it's on the cabinet right there on the right side. What was its name? Oh, she's drawing another angel.
ガブリエル。
Gabriel.
他の子の名前は。びっくりした。棚に腕が。ここにあるものって絶対全部高いよね。壊さないように気をつけなきゃ。
Honestly, like going to a place like this when you're not used to it, I mean, it's gotta be so overwhelming, right? Yeah, because she was from an orphanage and now she's working at a house like this with all this expensive stuff everywhere. Like you don't want to accidentally break anything. Then you gotta pay for it, right? Where do we go? We've checked everything. I guess we go back and forth then? Wait a second. It looks like the phone on the desk is off the hook. That's kinda strange, but there might be a reason for that. I really shouldn't just hang it up without saying anything. Who knows what would happen. I think I'll just leave it alone for now. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna go back and forth to the areas here. Like we cannot click anything anyways. If I open the window, I see you can spot the driveway from here. No, how about we stop moving? Yes, how about we stop moving? Maybe that's gonna advance the story. Each room is both beautiful and charming in its own way. It's just fun to look around, so I don't feel like cleaning them will be such a chore.
そういえば使用人は私一人なんだよね。家事全部は頼まないって言ってたけど、どうなるんだろう。
So live in, so let's say, yeah, like the guards or whatever, they go maybe at night. She's the only one staying here? Okay. Lost in thought, I glance over the clock to see that an hour had now passed. I guess it's too late to worry about those things at this point. I looked at myself in the mirror and adjusted my collar. Then I took a big, deep breath.
よし、行こう。
I stepped out of my room, which I had already begun to get a little attached to.
ああ、コーヒーのいい匂い。
いちこくん来たね。おいで、こっちで話そう。
はい。
What a huge window. You can clearly see the garden from here.
せっかくだから外が見える席に座るといい。ここでどう？
ありがとうございます。広い。綺麗なお庭ですね。花がたくさん。
この小食堂はブレックファストルームと呼ばれていてね。気分よく朝食をとるために設計された部屋なんだ。私も気に入っているけれど、景色が寂しくならないよう年中植え替えが必要だから管理にはなかなか苦労しているよ。
Even from here, I can't quite tell how far back the garden spans. I'm sure it really is tough to maintain an area this big.
さて、焼き菓子でもどうかな。ここから好きなものを選ぶ。コーヒーはもう少し。
The hot water ran down from a thin spout, then disappeared into the paper filter. The coffee's rich, deep aroma began to spread throughout the room. What a handsome man. It feels weird to say it at this point, but Mr. Amane is far from ordinary looking. He's both tall, refined, so he looks good even when he's just standing around. Wait, what am I thinking? His daughter bears some resemblance to him, but the same doesn't. When I see him like this, maybe Mr. Amane is actually the more doll-like of the two.
Hmm? なんだい？何か質問かな？
いえ、その。
Okay, I have a question. Maybe she asked him, like, yeah, when did you have your daughter?
質問というか、 お好きなんですか？
Because yeah, he looks very young, man. He looks like he's in his 30s. And then his daughter is the same age as Ichiko, right? Maybe a little bit older.
コーヒー。ああ、好きだよ。味も香りも。悪くない。いちこくんも。さあ、どうぞ。
すみません、ありがとうございます。
それじゃあ改めて本題に入ろうか。いちこくんにお願いしたい仕事は掃除が中心にはなるのだけれど、他にも頼みたいことがいくつかあってね。まずはここに書かれた仕事を問題なくこなせるようになってもらえると助かるよ。
Amane then reached into his pocket and handed me a white piece of paper. Collect the sheets and the laundry in a special basket and place them outside the service entrance to the kitchen before noon. The paper he handed me had 5 tasks written down with all the specific details I needed.
大まかだけれど、やるべきことは分かりそうかな？
はい、このリストすごく助かります。いつまでに何をやらなきゃいけないのか分かりやすくて。
それはよかった。実際にやってみるとわからないことも出てくるだろうけれど、その時は相談してくれればいいからね。
ありがとうございます。でも掃除とこのリスト以外の仕事は誰が？
その話もしておかないとね。まずどうして住み込みの使用人がいちこくんだけなのか。
Almost as if he suddenly remembered something, Amani took a sip of coffee and continued on.
今はとても静かだけれど、以前はここで10人以上の使用人が働いていたんだよ。無論みんなにはとても助けられていた。でもそれだけ人が多いと問題も多くてね。盗みはもちろん、人間関係で何度か大きな揉め事も。そういういざこざに年々疲れてしまってね。
A lot of people, and they're stealing, I guess.
最終的には利点と欠点を天秤にかけて人のいない気楽さを取った。現状はそんなところかな。
That was why, aside from daily cleaning, he has outside help for the others' chores. There's a nearby dry cleaners that takes care of the laundry every day, and someone from a local Western restaurant comes in to prepare all of their meals. I never even imagined that one could live like this. I guess it's easier than having people always in your house and dealing with the uneasiness of that.
それぞれその道の職人に頼んでしまうのが最も効率がいいけれど、それで事足りるかといえばそうとも言えなくてね。私たちと彼らの間をつなぐ役割を君に担ってもらえるととても助かるんだよ。
Liaison? Taking out the laundry baskets to be picked up, then washing the dishes after meals. As I read through this list of tasks, I realized that it painted the perfect picture of all the things that must have caused Amane trouble in the past. I had to do various chores everywhere I've been, so I feel like I can handle this. Granted, it's not necessarily easy work, but I'm relieved to know that everything I'm being asked to do is something I'm at least somewhat familiar with or have some experience doing.
あとはアリアといい関係を築いてくれればそれが一番かな。
Oh, since I'm the only housemaid here, it's only natural that I would be looking after her as well.
聞いてもいいですか？お嬢様はどんな方なんでしょう？
アリアかい？とても素直でいい子だよ。それにとても美しい。それは見ればわかるかな。
はい。あんな綺麗な人映画の中でも見たことない。
私も親ながらそう思うよ。しかしあれだけ容姿が際立っていると幼少期は危険な目に遭うことも多くてね。だが幸いと言うべきではないのだろうけれど、体が弱いこともあってずっと自宅学習でね。屋敷から出ずに過ごすようになってからは比較的平穏に暮らしているよ。今はここへ来るお客様をもてなすことがアリアの仕事のようなものかな。
That's unbelievable. I can't imagine living like that. I wonder how long it's been since she last left the house. Must be hard being both that beautiful and so physically weak.
その仕事、ここへ来るお客様っていうのは。
私の友人知人もいれば仕事の関係者も多いよ。当然誰でも招待するわけではないけれどね。アリアの話は表立ってしないようにはしていても噂を聞いて会いたがる者も多い。それが他国の要人だってこともある。
Important people? I guess he means politicians or something?
もちろん岩倉の名前に集まってくる者も、それには未だに手を焼いているよ。
The Iwakura name. As soon as Amani uttered those words, a conversation I heard a few days ago at the orphanage between a contractor and one of the staff members crossed my mind.
あの子がこんな幸運を隠し持ってたなんてな。ありゃ、名字からしても旧家族のもんだろ。実はさ、見せてもらった住所の家ちょっくら見てきたんだけど、本当にバカでかいなんてもんじゃねえって。家族じゃないなら堅気じゃねえなってくらい。俺も若い女なら色目でも使って雇ってもらうのにな。
That was so gross. Just remembering what he said made me want to puke. But I'll give him a little credit because it doesn't seem like he was wrong. I don't know what flavor of nobility they could have been, but based on what I just heard from Amane, it certainly seems like the Iwakura name carries some historical significance.
無理はしないよういつも言っているのだけれどね。アリアなりに私の立場を考えてくれているようで、堅苦しい場にもいつも同席してくれるんだ。ただ人と関わるのは本当にその時くらいでね。年の近い相手と話すことはまずないから、そういう機会があればとずっと思っていたんだよ。
Now I get it. I can't help but wonder if someone like me would be a good conversation partner for her. I'm sure if he looked around, he could find a more suitable person than me.
過去にいた女中さんがどんな風にお嬢様と接していたんでしょう。
そうだな。仲の良かった女中はいたけれど、彼女なんかは幼い頃からの付き合いだったからね。成長してからはどうだろう。数ヶ月前までいた前任者は参考にならないからな。
前任者？
ああ、彼女はアリアと全く気が合わなくてね。あの子がクビにしてしまったんだ。
クビですか？
参ったよ。 アリアも一度決めたことは曲げない性格だから。でもイチコ君は心配いらない。年の離れていた彼女と違って君は同い年だ。二人ならきっとうまくいくよ。私はそう思ってる。
I'm glad he's so optimistic, but just because we're the same age, it doesn't mean everything is going to be okay. Wait, he really just said we're the same age. Seriously?
おや、
Yeah, I thought she was maybe a little bit older, maybe 1 year older or something.
コーヒーに手をつけていないね。苦いのはあまり得意じゃなかったかな。
実はでも焼き菓子と一緒なら平気です。いただきます。
無理することはないよ。砂糖とミルクをたっぷり使うといい。実はアリアも苦いものが苦手でね。ほら、また共通点が見つかった。
If that's enough to make us get along, then I'll take it.
もうこんな時間か。1階の案内をと思っていたのだけれど、難しそうだな。
お仕事ですか？
ああ、ちょっと急ぎのものがあってね。仕事は明日からで構わないから、今日はどこでも好きに見て回るといい。2階はどうだった？自分の部屋以外も見てみたかい？
はい、天音さんのお部屋もとても素敵で。
Imagine if he gets angry and be like, oh, why did you go into my room?
ありがとう。壁紙がお気に入りでね。
Okay, he did not get angry.
それじゃ私は書斎に。何かあればいつでも声をかけていいからね。
わかりました。お忙しいところお時間をいただきありがとうございました。
堅苦しい礼なんか必要ないよ。それは雇い主の責務だ。やるべきことはすぐに分かるようになるだろうから、ゆっくり慣れていくといい。気をせいてもいいことはないから。いいね。
His voice was so calm and composed. I nodded my head, then Amani gently narrowed his eyes at me before leaving the breakfast room. I heard the sound of a door closing in the distance and felt my shoulders instantly relax in that moment. I really ended up in an unbelievable house, didn't I? I listened carefully to everything he said, but I don't know if I really understood at the time just how amazing it all was. But at least I know what's going to be expected of me for work. I just need to make that my top priority and make sure I do my job well.
まずはゆっくり慣れていく。
Mr. Amani really is an incredibly kind gentleman. He's really difficult to get a read on, though I probably shouldn't rely on him too much. It made me feel a bit empty inside knowing I just can't accept his kind words at face value. Still, when I can think like that, I feel I can hold my head up high.
よし、とりあえず今は1階を見て回って。あれ、今の何の音だろう。窓？
Yeah, there was a thud, I guess. A window? A door? Something fell down? I stepped into the adjoining room while I was trying to track down the sound I just heard.
ここは大食堂？
My footsteps echo louder in here than anywhere else I've been in the house. It's big enough where it could be used as a dance hall. This wall is made of a different material. I think it's called a partition. This one feels like it's a little taller than the one in the entrance hall.
あそこに彫ってあるのは果物？
I looked up and saw an intricately decorated white ceiling. I wanted to look around and admire the beauty of this room some more, but it didn't seem like the sound came from here. All of the windows were closed and there was no sign of anyone around.
あれ、この壁の小窓、配線口？ということは隣は。やっぱり厨房だ。
There was a pantry connected to it with an opening in the wall facing the dining room that had a huge serving table set up. Even though there's only 2 people living here, this kitchen is bigger than the one at the orphanage. Yeah, look how massive it is though. I guess it would really come in handy if they ever do big parties in the dining room.
結局さっきの音は何だったんだろう。矢なり？
Why, someone is here.
重い。
Oh, this is a different person. That sure caught me off guard.
これでやっと最後か。もうなんで今日に限ってこんなに暑いの？
Was she the one making that noise? Maybe I heard the back door close. Looks like there's bottles of liquor in these boxes, so maybe she's from the liquor store.
うわあ、びっくりした。あなたは、もしかして新しい受注さん？いつからいた？今来たとこ？ごめんね、全然気づかなくて。今日からだって天音さんに聞いてたのに、もうすっかり。私、宮内すいです。この家のご飯係。
Okay, nice name. Sui.
ご飯係？ってことは近所の洋食屋さんの。
そうそう、キッチンプリウス。岩倉家には2年前から家族でお世話になってるんだけど、この春から普段の食事は私一人で全部やらせてもらってるんだ。
Whoa, she does this all on her own? That's incredible.
それで女中さんのお名前は？
北川一子です。
いくつ
？16。
じゃあ同い年だ。なんか嬉しい。よろしくね、いちこ。私のこともスイって呼んで。
I felt a bit overwhelmed by her bright and expressive mannerisms that clashed with her otherwise cool yet tense features. Nevertheless, I somehow managed to nod along to what she was saying and...
ちなみにまかないも任されてるから、リクエストがあったらこっそり言ってね。
Sui said this with a smile as she flashed me her perfectly aligned teeth. Her casual and down-to-earth demeanor just naturally puts me at ease. I've hardly had the chance to meet anyone my own age ever since I graduated from junior high, and yet somehow I managed to meet 2 people my age today. Aria and Sui. I guess everyone around here has interesting, unique names. I'm just Ichiko.
さてと、とりあえずこれ台にあげちゃわないと。おいしょっと。あ、待って、ダメかも。なにこれ、重っ。落とさなくてよかった。ありがとう、いちこ。今日は荷物運びが多くって もう体力使い切っちゃったみたい。
すごいよ、こんなに重いものよく一人で運べたね。
腕力には自信あるんだ。毎日食材の積み下ろしをしてるから。でも今日みたいな暑い日くらいみんな助けてくれたっていいじゃんね。そこの守衛さんなんて目があっても見てるのふりだよ。あまねさんにはいっつもペコペコしてるくせに。
I see. I feel like I learned something about this guy. Sui's so full of emotion when she talks. I could listen to her all day. She went through a wide range of ever-changing expressions as she told me more stories. I nodded along attentively. Before I knew it, with a kitchen knife in hand, Sui had all the ingredients she was going to use neatly lined up on the counter. I looked up with bewilderment, quickly and evenly chopped up all the potatoes on the cutting board. Wow, she's really a professional.
料理はいつもここで作ってるの？
日によるかな。最近はうちの店で作ってからここへ持ってくることが多いかも。ちなみに今日はビーフシチュー。私の得意料理だから期待してて。
She's amazing. I felt like she instantly switched from shooting me a friendly smile to intensely focusing on her handiwork. I know we're the same age, but Sui seems way more self-reliant and grown up than me. This really isn't the time for me to be daydreaming. I should take this opportunity to check out the rooms I haven't seen yet. I can do things right when I start working tomorrow. Oh, we can check again. Sunroom.
おしゃれなサンルーム。ここからも庭が見渡せるんだ。
I've always admired the sunrooms I spotted at rich people's houses in my neighborhood. But this one thoroughly puts any of those to shame. Both the size and the design are on another level.
あれ？庭に人がいる？
The heat haze made it a bit hard to see, but that was definitely a tall man. Ooh. He had a stepladder slung on his right shoulder and a huge pair of pruning scissors on the other hand. Seemed like he was tending to the garden in this heat all by himself. I mean, this garden is massive. There's no way it could be maintained without a gardener. It made sense when I thought about it, but the idea that someone would have a dedicated gardener at their home is still something else. This looks a little dusty. I guess that's because there hasn't been anyone else working at the house. It's pretty tidy for most of the part, but it still looks a little bit messy with all these things piled up. What do we have here? Maybe some wine? Because yeah, look at the right side there, right? Yeah, maybe? Sunroom drawing room. I think this is the drawing room where they entertain guests. The exquisite furniture is arranged beautifully.
おしゃれな窓。こういうのなんて言うんだっけ？ステンドグラス？
It felt like walking into a church you would find overseas. There's another door in here. Let's see. Another door. Oh, looks like it's connected to the sunroom. Okay, just a connected room, breakfast room. We've been here. This door has a large glass window. I can get out to the terrace from here. There's a small table and some chairs. I guess they eat out here sometimes. I never even imagined being able to do such elegant things. Okay, I guess one more check like for the dining room and kitchen before we leave. What a grand chandelier. It makes me wonder if it come crashing down in an earthquake. What? Kitchen. Oh my, something smells wonderful.
いい匂いでしょう。ビーフシチューのお肉、野菜とは別で炒めてるんだ。いちこ、待ってね。ちょっぴり塩コショウしてっと。はい、フォーク。
ありがとう。じゃあ一つだけ。このお肉おいしい
でしょ。私が言うのもなんだけど、焼くだけで美味しいお肉って本当に焼くだけでいいと思うんだよね。だってそれが一番美味しいもん。
確かにそうなのかも。でも私はスイのビーフシチューもすごく楽しみ。
ありがとう。焼いただけ肉に負けないように頑張ります。
Okay, thank you.
なんとなくだけど、これで全体の間取りが分かった気がする。あとは、そうだ。今のうちに外の廃棄箱も。
ね
え？
Okay, she's suddenly here now.
お嬢様、どうされたんですか？
私。
はい。
お腹が空いたの。朝から何も食べていないから倒れそう。
ああ、そうですか。お腹が。お腹すみません。すぐに何か用意できるか聞いてきます。
ええ、そうして。
Oh my god. I thought my heart was going to burst out of my chest. I turned around and her beautiful face was just right there in front of me. Yeah, I thought she was sickly, right? She was sleeping? Why was she there? Damn it, this is awful. I made myself look like an idiot in front of her. At this rate, she's going to end up hating me. I need to turn things around and quickly. Okay. What?
スイがいてくれて本当によかった。
My first day came to a close without incident, and I breathed a huge sigh of relief. We put together some warm bread from the toaster oven, steak, and some veggies to garnish. The beef stew was still cooking, so we had to come up with something, so we didn't have to keep Aria waiting. Thanks to Sui's quick thinking, we were able to bring her a delicious meal pretty quickly.
おいしい。
お嬢様、食事する姿まで綺麗だった。
Even just thinking about her like that is enough to make me feel this strange, spellbound feeling.
どれも一口しか食べないのには驚いたけど、あれだけ華奢だと仕方ないのかも。私とは真逆。
Looking down, I can see my bloated tummy, even though it's already been a few hours since I ate. But still, Sui really is an incredible chef. Everything she makes tastes amazing. With skill like that, it's no wonder they were able to leave her in charge of this by herself.
今何時？あれ、まだ9時か。
I peered out the window and saw the stars twinkling in the night sky. Suddenly, in that moment, I felt a rush of sadness, like my heart was being squeezed.
そっか。
It was that first night feeling. I felt it when I first moved into the orphanage, whenever I went to live with foster parents, and when I moved into the company dormitory at my last job. Even though everything about this place was so much nicer than the ones before, I still feel or I felt the same depression, loneliness, and anxiety. It was like my entire body was remembering those feelings.
けど今日は平気。全然何も怖くない。
This was the first day of a whole new experience. The wave of depression that suddenly washed over me slowly but surely began to fade away.
ベッドもふかふかで気持ちいい。
I wonder what tomorrow has in store for me.
あ、そういえば二人が起きる時間を聞いてなかった。どうしよう。6時に起きれば間に合うかな。いや、やっぱり5時にしておこう。仕事初日から寝坊扱いになったら最悪だし。
I mean, it's usually 5, yeah, like 5 a.m. every single time, right? You need to wake up before the people. I reached for the alarm clock I brought with me and set the shortest hand.
これでよしっと。
My eyelids slowly began to close as I gazed up at the beautiful ceiling. Soon after, I drifted off to sleep. I can't hear a thing coming from the next room. With that thought in mind, I found myself in the precipice of a dream. There was a sweet scent in the air. Aria turned to face me as she stood in front of that same window. She was radiant. I was being engulfed by the light shining from behind her. Without any resistance, I began to fall into a deep sleep. Okay, here we go, I guess. What is happening now?
ああ、もういいよ。お疲れ様。
We got a lot of knives there, look.
今日はえらく不機嫌だね。少し痛くしてしまったかな？
What is this?
つまらない冗談ね。
そう怒らないでくれ。何がそんなに気に入らないんだい？
分かっているでしょ。相談もしないで。どうしてあんな子を連れてきたの？
なるほど。そのことか。ちょっと試しにと思ってね。やはり女中がいないのは不便だろ？それに何よりアリアの暇つぶしになると思ってね。アリア、そうすねないでくれ。最近忙しくてあまりそばにいられないから、君のために何かしたかったんだ。わかってくれるね。
お父様。
気に入らなければいつでもクビにすればいい。それだけのことさ。 全てはアリア次第なのだから。おっと、すまない。無理をさせてしまったかな。疲れたね。今日はもう眠りなさい。大丈夫。ほら、目を閉じて。息を吸って、息を吐いて。そう。それでいい。そのまま、ゆっくり。おやすみ。アリア、おやすみ。
Okay, that was something at the end there. Let's check her body then. My middle finger trembles as I reached out and softly touched the symbol.
おや、
マネさん、違うんです。これは
So what they said in the trial versions, these are like in different parts of the full game, right? So, okay. This is bad. My mind's gone totally blank. I can't get a single word to come out.
そうか。この部屋を知っていたのか。いつからかな。今日？それとももっと前から？
What could I possibly say to him that'd make him forgive me for both knowing about the room and stepping foot into it like this? I truly had no idea.
ごめんなさい。私。
責めているわけじゃないんだ。ただ少し気になってね。まさか話す前に見つけてしまうのは。 アリアはまだ早いと言っていたけれど、こんなに怯えさせてしまうくらいなら先に話しておいてもよかったかもしれないな。
Amane seemed awfully calm and spoke in his usual gentle tone of voice. However, I wasn't registering a single word he was saying.
でもこれで待つ必要がなくなった。これからは掃除も頼めない。
Wait, so I guess it's fine then?
いや、気が早いのだ。その様子じゃ出ていくと言われてしまうかもしれないね。
Is he not upset with me? What's with him asking me to clean here?
すみません。この部屋って。
おっと、失礼。話はあるな。 もうお客様がお帰りになるから少しここで待っていてくれるかな。安心してすぐに戻るよ。
Amane grabbed something off the shelf and with that dashed out of the room. I was so tense and nervous that at some point my entire body had gone completely numb, but I was gradually starting to get some feeling back now. He was smiling. Seeing him calm and composed like that, maybe I wasn't in particularly or any particular danger?
ここはただの物置ってこと？でも。 お嬢様はまだ早いって言ってたって、それってどういう。
What is that?
イチコ？
Oh, Aria.
お嬢様。まったく困ったものね。
臆病なくせに知りたがりなんだから。
She said this with amazement as she appeared before Amane, narrowing her gentle eyes at me. She looked beautiful no matter where she was. With that smile of hers, I could accept anything she had to say. Which is exactly why I can let myself be deceived. What's with this room? What about that photo of you as a kid? Who was that man earlier? She thinks I don't know anything.
いちこ、
お嬢様、私もう何が何だか、この部屋もお嬢様もわからない。このお屋敷は何なんですか？ここで何が起きているんですか？
あら、あなたが知っているのはこの部屋のことだけじゃないよね。
それはそうなんでしょうか。自分が何を知っていて何を知らないのか、それももう。
そうだったらわからないままでもいいのよ。あなたが知って得をすることなんて一つもないから。
なんでそんな言い方するんですか？
Especially after the terrible things I went through.
私ちゃんと分かりたいんです。ちゃんと知りたい。お嬢様のことならなんだって全部。
そうだったらいいわ。知ってからでも遅くはないものね。
I thought for sure that she would push me away, but instead, she nodded at me, then walked over to none or one of the shelves. What is she looking for? Aria is acting like she's trying to show me something. What could it possibly be? If I had known what I was about to see, my cowardly self would have never in a million years said that I want to know more about her.
ねえ、いちこ。
Aria turned to face me, grasping a knife.
何？お嬢様、なんで何を？
聞いて。私はあなたを責めたりしないから。たとえこの先いちこのいる秋が私の元に来なくても。
いや、お嬢様。
I instantly stretched my arm out, but I couldn't reach her. Aria rolled up her sleeve to expose her arm and without even the slightest bit of hesitation, plunged the knife into it. Oh my god. She got a straight line from her wrist up to her elbow. Okay, so I guess that's not really a spoiler, right? It's more on, it just adds to the mystery. Like, what is happening here? Okay, last one, Aria and Ichiko.
そんなに困った顔しなくたっていいじゃない？本当に素直なんだから。おかしくて笑っちゃう。
だって私昨日のことはまだ全然。
ええ、わかってるわ。でもその話はまた後にしましょう。今は少し横になって寝不足なだけじゃないのだから。
でも仕事が。
お父様には私から休ませたいと話しておくわ。それからあかりには少し詳しいことも話していいかしら。毎月補充してもらうようにお願いしないと。
What? I need to make sure she replenishes your supply each month. Okay.
それはもちろんです。ありがとうございます。
いちこ、まだ頬が赤いままね。お風呂のせいかと思ったけれど、少し熱っぽいみたい。
I felt the cold palm of her hand gently cover my cheek.
お嬢様の手、冷たくて気持ちいいです。
そう、よかった。もう目を閉じて、今日はこのまま好きなだけ眠るといいわ。おやすみ、いちこ。
What do I say here? Good night? How about please stay with me?
お嬢様、できればもう少しだけ私のそばにいてくれませんか？
寂しいの？
そういうんじゃないですけど。
もっと気持ちよくしてほしい？それなら首も冷やしてあげる。いちこの体温で私の手もすぐに熱くなってしまいそうだけれど。
I'm so stupid. Why did I stop her? At this rate, my temperature is going to spike.
やっぱり大丈夫です。わがままを言ってすみません。お嬢様ももう部屋で休んで。
そうだわ。これはどうかしら。やっぱり手も熱いわね。
お嬢様、何をしてるんですか
Aria leaned over the bed, grabbed both of my hands, and pressed them against her cheeks.
私の顔を貸してあげているのよ。冷たくて気持ちいいでしょ？あとは自分でお願いね。
She's so strange. Her face looks even more lovely and vibrant than normal, and I couldn't help but burst out laughing as I lied there staring at her. Even though we were looking at each other so up close and personal, this is the first time I laughed and smiled like this instead of getting flustered.
いいの。もう眠れそうね。それじゃあ手は下ろして、目をつむって。
Her hands, her forehead, feels so nice.
おやすみ、いちこ。
おやすみなさい、お嬢様。
Okay, so here we go. We finished the trial version for Iwakura Aria. Honestly, I enjoyed it. The mystery, I actually want to know what is happening, what's gonna happen. By the way, yeah, there's a violence tag for this game. That's why we saw some of that in this one. Her body, right? They were showing it. I wonder what the father is doing to his daughter there, but we will have to see. So as far as making a let's play for this game, Mages, they said that you cannot. Maybe for now, maybe forever, who knows, right? That's why we were using this trial version, because anything from the full release cannot be shown. So I do apologize for that. And for the length of this game, they said it's about 15 hours to finish. I guess normal length. I mean, some visual novels are insanely long, right? But yeah, 15 hours, I guess a right amount of time for the whole story. But yeah, cast for this, at least in this demo, we have not that many characters shown yet. Maybe we're gonna get more. We will find out. So if you want to play this game, this one comes out in August the 14th on Steam and on Switch. And hopefully you enjoyed this quick look, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.